Hey everyone, welcome back. I've got something really intense for you today. We're about to dive into one of the most gripping thrillers of recent years, Squid Game, 2021. Directed by Hwang Dong-hyuk and starring Lee Jung-jae, Park Hae-soo, and Wee Ha-jun, this series looks innocent at first, just people playing games. But soon, those games turn into a fight for survival. Step by step, we'll uncover how everything begins and why nothing is as simple as it seems. So, let's get started. Our story begins not with a gunshot or a scream, but with something far more ordinary. A middle-aged man, Song Gi-hyun, stumbles through life. He's broke, divorced, and drowning in debt. His footsteps echo in a crowded street as he rushes to gamble away the little money he has. You can almost hear his heartbeat racing every time he places a bet, every time the dice rolls. Gi-hyun isn't a hero, he's just desperate, and desperation has a sound. The sigh when his mother scolds him for borrowing money, the silence of his young daughter when he can't afford her birthday gift, the mocking laughter of loan sharks pounding their fists against the table. In the background, Seoul is alive, neon lights, busy streets, but for Gi-hyun, every light feels like a reminder of his failures. His world is collapsing, and he doesn't even know it's about to get much darker. But he's not the only one. Across the city, others just like him, men and women, crushed by debt, betrayal, and hopelessness, are living their own quiet tragedies. A businessman fallen from grace, a migrant worker cheated by his boss, a young woman escaping from a cruel regime. All different stories, but the same bottom line. They have nothing left to lose. And soon, their paths will lead to one place. But what happens next will change everything. One evening, Gi-hyun sits slumped at a subway station, his shoulders heavy, his eyes hollow. That's when a stranger in a sharp suit approaches him. He smiles politely, almost too politely, holding a small folded envelope. The man challenges Gi-hyun to a simple children's game, dakji. Flip a folded paper square, win and you get money, lose and you pay the price, with a stinging slap across the face. The sound of that slap echoes in the empty station, again and again, until Gi-hyun, face red and stinging, finally wins. The stranger smiles and hands him the envelope. Inside, money and a strange card, a phone number, no explanation. Gi-hyun's fingers tremble as he holds the card. He doesn't know it yet, but this is the first step into something far more dangerous. And he's not alone. All across the city, others are being approached the same way. Each offered the same deal, each carrying the same scars of poverty and failure. When Gi-hyun finally calls the number, a calm voice answers. He is given a choice: join the game and win unimaginable money, enough to pay debts, enough to start over, enough to rewrite a broken life. He agrees, and just like that, a black van pulls up. The door slides open. Inside, people sit unconscious, their heads slumped. A masked man sprays gas, and Gi-hyun's world fades to black. When he wakes, he's no longer in Seoul. He's lying on a hard bunk bed, surrounded by hundreds of strangers in green tracksuits. The walls are bare, the air is cold, and cameras watch from above. Rows of beds stretch out like an army barracks. Everyone looks confused, scared, whispering questions they can't answer. Where are they? Who brought them here? And most importantly, what comes next? But before answers, a voice booms across the room. Men in pink jumpsuits and black masks enter. Their footsteps are sharp, synchronized, like soldiers. They explain the rules. Everyone will compete in a series of games. Win, and advance. Lose, and you will be eliminated. The prize? 45.6 billion won, a fortune beyond imagination. Some laugh nervously, some don't believe it. But soon, they'll learn what elimination really means. And when they do, fear will take over everything. The players are herded into a wide outdoor arena. At first, it looks like a giant playground, bright skies painted on the walls, soft sand beneath their shoes. At the far end stands a giant doll, its head facing away. The rules sound simple. Red light, green light. When the doll calls green light, you move. When it says red light, you stop. Cross the finish line within the time limit, and you win. Everyone chuckles nervously. A children's game for money? This doesn't sound so bad. The signal begins. Green light. Feet shuffle, laughter fills the air. Then, red light. A man stumbles forward, caught mid-step. The doll's head spins. A sharp crack echoes through the arena. The man collapses. Silence. Some gasp. Others laugh, thinking it's a prank. But then, the blood pools beneath him. Panic erupts. Players scream, sprinting towards the exit. Gunshots fire like thunder. One by one, bodies drop in the sand. The air fills with the metallic smell of blood and the desperate cries of those who realize too late, this isn't a game. Gi-hyun freezes, trembling. His heartbeat roars in his ears. Around him, people beg, cry, and die. The survivors learn fast, move only when it's safe, and do not hesitate. Minute by minute, the group shrinks. Some fall inches from the finish line, eyes wide with terror. Others drag themselves forward, sweat mixing with tears. When the final bell rings, only a fraction of 456 people remain. Gi-hyun, breathless, stands among them, alive but shaken. The survivors look at one another, realizing the truth. This isn't about fun. This is survival, and survival will demand more than they ever imagined. But the worst was only beginning. The survivors stumble back into the dormitory. Their faces are pale, their hands still trembling. Over 200 people are gone in a single game. The air is heavy with grief, but also with rage. They shout at the masked guards, "You tricked us! You never told us death was the price!" But the guards remind them, "You signed a contract. You agreed to play. You chose this." For a moment, the players are given a vote: stay or leave. And in a shocking twist, the majority choose to leave. Gi-hyun, Ali, Song-woo, Se-byeok, they return to their broken lives in the outside world. But freedom doesn't feel like freedom. Gi-hyun finds his debts waiting for him, his mother's illness worsening, his daughter slipping further out of reach. Se-byeok still has no way to rescue her family. Ali, unpaid and cheated, still can't feed his child. And Song-woo, once a proud businessman, is now a wanted criminal. The outside world is just another game, cruel, merciless, stacked against them. And one by one, they make the same choice: return to the nightmare. Back inside the compound, the prize money is revealed, a giant glass piggy bank suspended above the dorm. Each death adds more cash. The sound of coins dropping echoes like a haunting reminder. Every life lost feeds someone else's greed. And this time, there's no turning back. The next challenge feels deceptively innocent. Each player chooses a shape: circle, triangle, star, or umbrella. Only later do they learn the task: carve the shape out of a thin honeycomb candy without breaking it. The tension is unbearable. The needle scratches against the brittle candy. Crack, and you're dead. Sweat drips from foreheads, hands tremble. Some cry silently, praying the candy won't break. When one player's umbrella shatters, a gunshot rings out, splattering the wall behind them. Gi-hoon licks the candy, softening it with his breath, slowly melting the edges. His heartbeat hammers in his chest as the guards approach, rifles ready. Finally, with seconds left, he holds the umbrella high. Perfect. But not everyone is so lucky. The sound of breaking candy fills the air, followed by more gunfire. The survivors learn another truth, that in this place, even the simplest childhood game can become a weapon, and trust begins to crumble. Back in the dormitory, the players can't sleep. Whispers fill the dark, then screams. One man kills another over food, and the guards do nothing. The players realize the games aren't limited to the arenas. Violence is allowed, even encouraged. Panic spreads. The lights flicker off. Chaos erupts. People grab whatever they can as weapons. Bodies crash to the floor. Throats are slit. Skulls are smashed. Gi-hoon huddles with Sae-byeok, Ali, and Song-woo, forming a fragile alliance. In the darkness, trust is their only defense. By morning, dozens more are dead. The piggy bank grows fatter, and the players understand. They're not just fighting in the games, they're fighting each other. The next challenge takes place on a towering steel platform suspended high above the ground. The players are divided into teams of 10. Each group must play tug-of-war on a rope that stretches over the abyss. The losing side doesn't just lose the game, they fall to their deaths. Gi-hoon's team looks hopeless. An old man, a woman, and others who seem weak compared to Doksu's gang of strong men. Fear spreads quickly. But the old man, player 001, surprises them. With a calm smile, he explains the strategy. Lean back, hold the rope tight, keep your center low, and never lose rhythm. The game begins. Boots scrape against the steel floor. Rope fibers strain and creak. Sweat pours down faces. Gi-hoon's team is dragged closer and closer to the edge. Death just inches away. Then Song-woo takes charge. He gives a final order. Take 3 steps forward. The team obeys, catching the enemy off guard. With one last desperate heave, they pull. Doksu's team tumbles into the abyss, their screams fading into silence. Gi-hoon collapses, gasping for air. Relief washes over them, but also guilt. Victory means survival, but also the weight of 10 more lives lost. The players are told to choose a partner. Everyone assumes they'll work together. But then the cruel twist is revealed. Each pair will compete against one another. Only one can survive. Gi-hoon is paired with the old man. Sae-byeok is with Ji-young, a quiet young woman who barely spoke before. Ali, loyal and gentle, partners with Song-woo. Each pair is given marbles and told, play any game you wish. The one who ends with all the marbles wins. Sae-byeok and Ji-young sit together, sharing their life stories instead of competing. Ji-young eventually sacrifices herself, letting Sae-byeok win. Tears stream down Sae-byeok's face as she realizes she has gained a chance at life but lost a friend. Song-woo, desperate and ruthless, tricks Ali into handing over his marbles. Ali realizes too late, betrayal written across his face as the guards drag him away. Gi-hoon, meanwhile, struggles to play fairly with the old man, who seems confused and weak. But then, in a devastating reveal, the old man hands over his last marble with a knowing smile, accepting his fate. Gi-hun survives, but his soul feels crushed. When the gunshots echo across the arena, half the players are gone. The dormitory feels emptier than ever. A massive bridge made of glass panels stretches over a deep chasm. In each pair, one glass tile is tempered and strong. The other will shatter under a person's weight. The players must cross, one at a time, choosing blindly with every step. Fear grips them as they realize it's mostly luck. One by one, people fall, their screams echoing in the darkness below. Glass shatters, raining sharp fragments onto those still waiting. Panic spreads as time ticks down. Doksu refuses to move forward, blocking the bridge. But Minyo, the woman he once abandoned, wraps her arms around him. With a final act of vengeance, she drags him down with her, both crashing to their deaths. At the very end, only Gi-hun, Sang-woo, and Se-byuk make it across. But as the bridge explodes behind them, shards of glass slice into their bodies. Se-byuk is badly injured, blood soaking through her side. The survivors limp away, shaken and broken. The night is silent, but their hearts are pounding. Blood stains the arena floor. Se-byuk is badly wounded from the explosion, her face pale, her steps unsteady. They are given new clothes, a feast laid out in front of them, a long dining table with steak, wine, and candles. But instead of joy, there is only dread. Every knife, every glass, every shadow feels dangerous. Gi-hun tries to reassure Se-byuk, whispering that they'll get out together, that he'll protect her. She gives a faint smile, but her body trembles with pain. Across the table, Sang-woo eats in silence, his eyes dark, his mind already calculating. Later that night, Gi-hun discovers Se-byuk bleeding heavily. He bangs on the door, begging for help, but no one comes. The guards stand cold and silent. By the time he returns to her side, Sang-woo has already made his move. With one brutal stab, he ends her life. Gi-hun collapses, screaming in rage and despair. His last friend is gone. Only two remain. The arena shifts once more. Rain pours down, the ground muddy, and guards line the field. The final challenge is revealed: Squid Game, the childhood game they once played in the streets. Gi-hun stands on one side, Sang-woo on the other. Two childhood friends, now mortal enemies. The rules are simple. The attacker must cross the field and step into the squid's head, while the defender must stop him. But the simplicity hides the brutal truth. Only one can leave alive. They clash with primal fury. Mud splashes with every step, fists slam, and bodies crash to the ground. Gi-hun manages to overpower Sang-woo, pinning him in the mud. He has the chance to kill him, but hesitates. Tears fill his eyes. He begs Sang-woo to stop, to leave together, to share the prize money and end this nightmare. But Sang-woo, broken and consumed by pride, makes his own choice. With his last strength, he stabs himself in the neck, whispering that Gi-hun must take the prize and help his mother. Blood mixes with the rain as Sang-woo collapses. Gi-hun screams, his voice echoing through the storm. Victory has never felt so empty. Gi-hun is crowned the winner.
The guards dress him in fine clothes and drive him back to the city. A suitcase is placed in his hands. Inside, stacks of money, more than he could ever spend. But his face is hollow, his eyes vacant. He returns home only to find his mother dead. The one person he wanted to save is gone. The money means nothing. A year passes. Gi-hun lives like a ghost, unshaven, broken, carrying the weight of every death. But then he receives a mysterious card, a familiar symbol, circle, triangle, square. He follows it, only to discover the shocking truth. The mastermind is the old man, player 001. The same man he thought he had lost in the marble game. The old man lies in a hospital bed. Smiling faintly, he explains the reason behind the games. The rich were bored. They had everything money could buy, but not the thrill of life and death stakes. So they created Squid Game, turning desperate people into entertainment. Gi-hun listens in horror as the old man defends his actions, saying it was all a fair chance. But Gi-hun knows the truth. It was cruelty disguised